Take two.
Figured it out. Maybe.
Hopefully.
We're gonna see here.
Oh. Well, that was...
I don't know why they gotta make this shit so complicated, but...
Because they can, I guess.
There we go. Now we got one viewer, which is me.
I said, does that really count?
Yes, it does. It's called a test.
Oh. So you're going to ask yourself a question?
Oh, now we have two.
Uh-oh.
Hello, other viewer.
I think you missed.
There we go. Does it say who the other viewer is?
I don't know. I had never done this before, so we are learning as we go.
I have never done this, and also, been on camera. Hello, Connor! McNamara Knife Works for all your custom bladey pointy needs.
That's one way to say that. So yeah, I go back to the statement of we probably should have prepared like something to say rather than just sitting here awkwardly, but...
Hey, Connor, ask us a question.
Is that
Like I said, I can come up with questions off the fly.
But you're the ones that's supposed to be answering the questions.
Well, I can ask you questions.
That sounds like a horrible idea, but okay.
I like it, but... Oh...
What's your favorite piece you've worked on?
Let's see. So, favorite firearm that I have worked on as of late, or like overall?
Pick one.
So, latest firearm that I have worked on that I liked was honestly probably the Remington Model 11. Because even though it was a giant pain in the ass, no, I learned a lot about that platform, and no, it was a fun time. And then favorite overall so far, I am probably gonna go with the 1853 Enfield that we are currently working on restoring, because to date that is the oldest firearm that I've had in the shop so far.
Which is pretty cool. Also a lot of responsibility in that piece.
Yeah, there's that. I say it's older than Lincoln's presidency.
It's pretty old.
Yeah. Which, for those of you that know about that side of my life, that speaks volumes, because...
Yeah, there's that. Hey, we got somebody else now.
So, thank you for joining us. Please drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from, and let us know if you've got any questions for us. We are more than happy to hang out and answer some stuff.
See if I can come up with some things to throw at you in the meantime.
This is the first time we've done this, so
yeah,
please forgive.
Probably horribly underprepared. It's fine.
Connor, you'll be happy to know that my lighter is working for the most part till
you were
I
saying
just said something, but
I got one for you. What is the longest running project you have ever had?
So I think longest running, like longest duration.
Mm-hmm.
So the longest duration project I think that I have had from like start to finish. So like not counting waiting on parts and stop times and stuff like that, just like bench time. Longest project that I have had is that Springfield Theater Center hired me to be a armorer for the musical production of Bonnie and Clyde. And I actually talk about this in our latest episode of the Armorer's Block, which you can find on Spotify and YouTube. But no, so it took me 9 weeks to custom build all of the prop guns and make sure that they functioned and cycled properly for the show.
Nice.
So, yeah, let's see, we got another one. So, Connor, what is the backstory on the car gun? So, customer brought in a Remington Model 11 that belonged to his father that he wanted restored. We got it on the bench, started digging into it, and this thing was so overly lubricated and rusted to the point that the action spring and some other components that are supposed to be quote unquote spring loaded, they were so glued together that when we removed all of the pins that are supposed to hold the gun together, like nothing came flying out. I had to literally like dig, climb, and crawl my way through the entire action of the gun because everything was so gunked up. But after about 3 weeks of solid work, we got her back to operational and running again. And there's actually a test fire video on our Instagram. So she was happily accepted by her owner, and yeah, I'd say we were happy with how it came out.
The other reason we started calling it the car gun was because I was sitting in the house working on some of the like back end stuff for the shop, and he had been out in the shop cleaning and working on this gun, and comes up to the open window of the house and just goes, "I need your help," and holds his hands up. And they were so covered in oil that was so dark, it literally looked like he'd been up to his elbows in a car engine.
It was nasty.
It was so bad.
Took me back to my Harley and farm implement days. Like, yeah, it was bad.
She needed some TLC for sure.
We can switch sides if you want.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
No, do you want to switch sides?
Nah, we're here now. We're committed. Maybe not.
Okay. We're switching sides, folks. I told her this was going to be part of tonight, but...
I mean, I'm glad that it's going out the window, but... Okay. Give me my mouse.
Oh no, we lost a viewer.
Oh no. How old were you the first time you took a gun apart?
So, the first time that I ever took a gun apart, I was about 14, and I got my butt reamed because it was my dad's, and I just wanted to see how the thing worked. And so. But no, I have always been very interested in mechanics and working with my hands, and have always wanted to know like how things work, how things fit together, and things like that. But the further I dived into that line of thinking, I also quickly realized for me that engineering school was too much formal education kind of thing. So
Too much focusing on the same thing for too long.
well, I mean, it wasn't really that. It was just more like you look at like quote unquote college formal education versus trade school versus like I will harp on YouTube all the time because I can't tell you guys how many quote unquote YouTube guns that we get. Got one on the bench right now, actually. But no, people watch YouTube trying to learn how to do, gunsmithing and things like that themselves, which in a way is good because I feel like knowledge and education should be open to everybody. But at the same time, it's like formal education wants you to learn a bunch of useless crap along with what you're actually trying to learn. So, but no, there's a happy medium, but it's like, no, when I looked at formal education and engineering school and stuff like that, just what it wasn't going to be for me.
I drink. Wrong one. I'll take that one too, but we're double fisted.
Double fisted. Again, I don't get out of the shop much. She doesn't get out from in front of the computer much these days, so we hope you guys understand. The fact that this is the second evening in a row that we have had free is like...
We don't know what we're doing. That is something we joke about, though, a lot in the shop, is the YouTube tax with customers that bring things in because they they like to start the conversation with, well, I was watching YouTube and...
Yeah, there's that. And again, it's like I said, overall, YouTube, not a bad platform. Even most of the gunsmithing stuff on YouTube isn't exactly bad. So the one tip that I would give to anybody watching is watch the entire video before you start trying to follow along and disassemble or repair your gun. Because the number one thing that we hear all the time is, well, I was watching YouTube and I was trying to follow along, and then all of a sudden the spring just shot out of nowhere. And it's like, that's why you gotta watch the entire video before you start anything so that you know what to expect. Hello, my brother Bim. I am so glad that you came to join us, and happy retirement. And thank you for your service, buddy. We are so glad that you are here.
How many lighters do you have?
I have two because my favorite lighter that your dad got me is currently not reliable, so we're doing this.
Well, why'd you break it?
I didn't, or at least I didn't think I did. But. So, again, folks, if you got any questions for us about gunsmithing, about the shop, what it's like to be raising 4 kids while running your own business full time with your spouse. Like, we are here for all of it. So please drop a comment. Let us know what your question is. We are here to hang out with you guys and hopefully answer your questions about gunsmithing, get you interested in gunsmithing. I'll say funny story about Bim and I in the comments. So Mike and I actually went to Harley school together, got certified as motorcycle mechanics, and then I moved back to Illinois right in time for the recession. Was great. So worked on bikes for a few years. So did he. He eventually moved on to boats. I had to move on to boats just because of logistics and having a wife, my ex-wife at the time, and a child to feed. And no, shortly after that, I got interested in guns. And
So what I'm hearing is your timing has always been great.
yeah, timing has always been off. You can be honest. It's fine.
I've got another one for you, even though I already know the answer. What
Okay.
is your, like, nerdy gun thing that you want to build?
Nerdy gun thing that I want to build. Yes. So, for those of you that know, those of you that don't know, I'm going to explain it to you. But no, for those of you that know, there is a video game series out there that is called Metal Gear Solid. To this day, even after attending gunsmithing training and armory training to a military grade level, this game is one of the most realistic that I have seen mechanic wise. So, in the 3rd official installment in the series, there is a custom made 1911 that is talked about at length in the series, and that is my number one like wet dream project that I want to build for the shop. Hopefully we'll get there. We can make a content series about it and stuff. But I had said that at some point I want that I would build it and sell it, but I don't think
You're
I
not
can
gonna
part
get
with
rid of
it
that
after
thing.
I did that.
Well, if you want to be a gunsmith,
I was
you
gonna
can
say
work for
guns.
us.
Yeah. Hey Bim, gunsmithing's pretty lucrative as a civilian contractor because because that's another funny thing too. So when I got interested in guns and was thinking about gunsmithing and being an armorer, I was still young enough that I had thought about enlisting and joining the guard or going full time as an armorer. And most of my military friends told me that that was the stupidest idea that I could have because as a gunsmith or an armorer, I would make twice as much as a civilian contractor. So yeah, I actually had about 6 different people talk me out of it. So yeah, if you want a side hustle now as a quote unquote retired bum, gunsmithing's pretty lucrative. And then if you go to our school platform, which is on our link tree, we have started doing online gunsmithing classes. So
Still fairly new to that. There's only a few classes up, but we are working
We're
on
working on
building
it.
our classroom up to snuff.
I say, where are we at now? Still 4.
Yep.
But yeah, so okay. Lydia,
Oh no.
I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
So, given what's gone on in the last year, which you can expand upon with the folks if you want to, no, how has it been going from a service writer and in the automotive industry to now being the chief of operations officer of a firearms shop full time?
It's been different. So there has definitely been a learning curve. Uh, so yeah, January of this year, I quit my job in the automotive industry as a service writer, and I'm now full time in the shop, which means I am now full time stay at home mom and businesswoman, which has been a treat in and of itself. Um, but while I know a decent amount about guns, I have found that trying to translate my knowledge from cars to guns has been interesting. Uh,
They are, well, and I mean, that's kind of the funny thing about guns, right? Like, they are vastly different, but there are
Very
also
similar.
a lot of similarities.
yeah.
Because I have found that with customers too. Like, I will use a lot of car analogies when I'm trying to explain different things. Because it's like, we'll get people that want precision, like competitive target guns compared to like an everyday carry for concealed carry and stuff like that. And eventually you start, you kind of compare those two with it's like, so do you want a Ferrari or do you want like an F-150? Do you want something that's everyday and dependable or do you want the like
High and they
high dollar race gun?
Right. Say the other fun thing has been like since I am more on the back end of the shop, I do more like social media and marketing and database things like that. I have since I quit my day job essentially become a graphic designer and a director and a videographer and I don't even know what else at this point that I have had to figure out on my own basically in the past several months. So that's been fun.
And she is crushing all of it, by the way, because what a lot of people may not realize, Blue Coat Arms Company has actually been open for 10 years. But then different people look at us on social media and stuff like that or on Google and they're like, how, if you've been open for 10 years, how have I never heard of you? And it's like, because for 10 years it was just me. And no, having Lydia involved and supportive of the business and stuff like that, like she has been an absolute godsend and has just crushed everything that I have tossed her away. Which is the only reason that we're doing stuff like this now. Because
We still don't know what we're doing, but we're making it work.
yeah. Let's say Bim says I'm debating gunsmithing, but we're looking at moving eventually when prices and interest rates go down. Well,
It's a travel bowl. That's not a word.
gunsmithing is very lucrative. So I'm just gonna be honest, because one of the things that cat. So one of the things that I have never quite understood about the industry is like a lot of people are very much, they're very, hi Cullen, there's child number 3.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people are very, protective of their clientele and stuff, which, I mean, you need to be because we all need to make enough money to eat. But at the same time, it's like you look at the amount of firearms that are known legally in the U.S. compared to those of us that are actually licensed and registered as gunsmiths. Like, there's more than enough work to go around. I was gonna say, I think the last report that I looked at, there's like 650 plus million guns in the United States that we know about, and then out of all of the federal firearm licenses that are actually earmarked for gunsmithing as a specialty, there's maybe 5,000 of us across the whole country. So no, gunsmithing, lucrative, very good way to go, especially if you like learning. Do not move to Illinois. And that is not a competition thing. That is a legal thing.
Yeah. That's a whole thing.
The only reason I'm still here is because we've been here long enough that our competition's gone.
Truth.
So, where are we at now?
The same.
The same? Okay.
Well, hey, Dad's watching. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad!
Trying to think of more things to throw at you.
More things.
I'm just gonna go back to the nerdy things. It's
Okay.
not really a question, but one of the things you have told me at one point that you wanted to build, which combines guns and cars,
Yep.
is another video game thing.
Okay.
So you said you wanted to build a sand shark from
Yes.
Jack and Daxter.
Yes. So another video game series that like defined mine and Lydia's childhood to the point Lydia is technically the only other person that I have known throughout my life played this series. Tells you how niche that is. But no, in the third installment, there were a bunch of off-road vehicles that got basically to the point of like Batman-esque.
Yeah.
And they were all, I would say they were all mostly built off like go-kart style frames and stuff. But no, so I have always had this pipe dream of taking what I learned from Wyotech when I was doing mechanics and Harley school and everything, and what I've learned about gunsmithing over the years, and basically making like this armored combat golf cart vehicle. Dune buggy.
Probably something that's highly illegal here, but you know, it's fine.
You only get in trouble if you get caught.
And maybe we shouldn't have said that on Facebook.
There's only 4 viewers, it's fine.
Whatever you guys do, don't tell anyone. This is the awkward silence portion of it.
This is what happens that when you're small and trying to start to build a following. And this is the part that none of the big people talk about.
Bim says, I miss turning wrenches, but 2 shoulder surgeries and a jacked up back makes that a little hard. Getting old sucks.
Well, that is one thing that I can comment about gunsmithing, because, because when I was in class, I was the kid even then, but I can tell you now, after 10 years of gunsmithing, the amount of arthritis that I have built up in my hands from all of these small springs and micro parts, like...
So basically you traded one,
I traded one evil for another. It's, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
But hey, bang bang is still like.
Thought it was pew pew. I'm confused.
It's pew pew if it's little.
Oh,
It's bang bang if it's.
so it's like the middle of the road.
Boom. I guess.
Alright, your turn.
My turn.
Yeah.
All right. So when you and I got together and got married and everything, so like you knew that I had this going on, but you did not have an initial interest in it. Like you knew it was going on, you knew it was part of our lives, but that was kind of like basically where it stopped until you unfortunately did lose your job in January. So, was there things leading up to the January event that made you want to get more involved? Or did you kind of just like jump in because you knew that we needed the income and the revenue to help and then fell in love with it later? Or like,
There was already things, because, like we've talked about before, like, I have always been interested in firearms to a point. I've been shooting before. I actually have some friends that are retired state cops that took me shooting for the first time. And it was only pistols then. I wanted to try different stuff, but that was all they brought. And then you took me shooting to teach me how to rifle shoot. So I already had an interest in guns just from that and, you know, media, because firearms are all over that as poorly as they are done. But no, and then watching you work at the shop and work on things, I have also always had an interest in, like, how things work and how mechanics are how mechanics work. So watching you take apart different guns and seeing how they all function and go together and all that intrigued me, which before I quit my job, I actually had asked him to teach me how to do some minor gunsmithing stuff, to the point where he actually let me fully disassemble, clean, and put back together his 1911 by myself, which went pretty well.
yeah.
So,
I was gonna say I shot it like a month later
yeah.
because we had met with a range owner to set up like an affiliate referral thing, and he was like, "Yeah, come to the range and shoot what you want." So no, I took it out and no, it like shot great.
Yeah.
Like,
so just, I think it was just kind of a compounded thing. Like, there was already an interest there, and then watching you work on stuff, I wanted to learn how to do that. And then when it came to the point where I did lose my job, that it was just like, well, this is already here. This is already something that we have talked about wanting to build up bigger than it is anyway. Let's just jump in with both feet and see where it takes us. And I'm not going to say it's been an easy few months, but I
small
think
business never is though. Like, that's not necessarily.
No.
That's not a personal dig at
No.
us or gunsmithing or anything. It's like, entrepreneurship is hard. Like, I don't care what your industry is.
Or how many influencers tell you how easy it is.
Yeah.
But no, so I think the past few months have definitely been a learning experience, but I wouldn't trade it for anything at this point. So, my dad, Neil, said, now that I am retired, if I was in better shape, I would help you build your armored buggy. I like turning wrenches. Which, was definitely a thing for me growing up. Was I remember working in the garage with Dad on cars or in the woodworking shop on different things and learning how things went together and building things and all that.
Yeah.
So I have also always had that love of learning and building things.
Yeah. I was gonna say, and I have always known that your dad was very mechanically inclined too, because one of the like, I won't say like, not core memory, but no, like shortly after we started officially dating, I remember showing up to your house, and then you and your dad had your Jeep Liberty like torn apart
Yes.
across the driveway, and
Say we had to do something with my rear differential. I don't remember now exactly what it was, but yeah. So he comes over and I am like physically under the car.
no, and it was great. And then one of the things that also stuck out to me with that is, for those of you that know, so Lydia and I have 2 kids, and then I had 2 kids from a previous marriage. But no, when I started officially seeing Lydia and this project was going on, no, my oldest daughter was with me, and we got to Lydia's house, and the car was all apart and everything, and Kaylee was all about it. Like,
So
she
she was
wanted
right
to
up under
know
there with me.
what everything was, how it all fit together, like.
Yeah. She was a little less thrilled about being dirty at that point in time, so like she did not want to touch anything, but she was very curious.
No. And that's been a fun thing too about the shop and the business too, because it's like, so I have been doing this for about as long as Kaylee has been alive. Kaylee is very hit and miss about the things that she's interested in, but no, her biggest thing has been stock shaping and sanding. Like, anytime I got to sand or file something, she is all about helping. Which is hilarious, because I feel like you get dirtier from dust
Absolutely.
than oil and grime, but she doesn't seem to mind sawdust, so.
It washes off a little easier, I guess. It's not sticky.
So, which, that's another interesting thing that we can talk about.
Oh.
So Kaylee has shown an interest in stock making and the carpentry side of things, because I always joke that gunsmithing is a trade for the ADHD inclined, which is why it works so well for me. Because if to be a good gunsmith, you have to know how metallurgy works. You have to be a carpenter. You have to be a chemist. You have to understand how physics works. You have to know how to engrave and inlay and different wood finishes and how all these chemicals and stuff work together and everything. In the time that Lydia and I have been married and she has gotten more interested in the business, she has also shown an inclination for woodworking and carpentry. So, where did that interest or passion start?
Honestly, with Dad in the garage, because we had a small like woodworking area in the garage at the house I grew up in. And I remember sitting out there with Dad as he was working on different projects, and like my main thing was, manning the little hand broom and like making sure all the sawdust was cleaned off of stuff.
Yeah.
But I also like had a small collection of all the offcuts of stuff that he would basically have thrown away otherwise, that I would just fiddle around with and play with. But no, I remember him building like we've talked about with the little toy cars and things like that, and birdhouses and all that. And then I also cosplayed a lot when I was younger. I would like to do more of that again, but requires time and money, and we have kids now. But there's a lot of props that I have for my different costumes that he made out of wood. Just like patterns he drew up himself and then made out of wood, and just watching him work. Like, I would love to be able to do all that, and now we actually have the space that we can, now that we have the shop up and running, so. It would definitely be something I would be intrigued to get into, and also knowing that eventually we want to get to a point of like manufacturing and doing more stuff on our own of building stuff. If I had the opportunity to do stocks while you're building everything else, like we could build a whole gun and barely have to leave the shop.
Yeah. No, and I mean, like, that is ultimately the goal. And I was going to say, over the years, we have done enough restoration projects. I say that we have done quote unquote custom builds. Um, the custom builds that we have done have mostly been from a what we call a donor gun. So I am not licensed as a manufacturer yet. We are working on that this next renewal cycle, finally, now that I got a space to do it and the tooling to do it. But no, a lot of people that will order a custom build from us, usually the way that we start is we will purchase a serialized firearm to start, and then we will customize it and remanufacture it to their specifications. One project that we actually got asked for a quote yesterday was we had a guy call us up and he wants us to make a Remington XC 100, but he wants it chambered in 450 Bushmaster. And considering that an original firearm in that platform is a 221 Fireball, so you're going from a 22 to a 45. Like, there are a lot of machining questions and principles and stuff that need to be taken into account to go that big. It's completely possible because actually over the years the 450 Bushmaster has become one of the most popular chamberings for that action. But when Remington originally built it, like, they didn't even consider going that big. I think the biggest it went was like a 30 something.
So for the less gun lingo inclined of us, what does that mean?
So when we talk about calibers and ammunition and stuff, so you hear a lot of numbers, you know. For ARs, you hear 223, 556, 756, 308, blah blah blah. You know, so the 221 Fireball is inches.
Okay.
So it's 0.221 Fireball. So it's 221. So it's 221 hundredths of an inch in Fireball, which is like just what they call the round. And then he wants to go to 0.450 Bushmaster. So Bushmaster is just the name of the round. But no, so you're basically going from 0.22 inches to 0.45 inches.
Gotcha.
And for those of you at home that might be keeping score or have questions, so we're basically going from a 22 round, like 22 rifle round, to something that would be comparable to a 1911 45 round.
See that I understand.
In the same gun. Like,
so quite a big bit of a difference there.
But no, so there are lots of things to consider with that. But no, so we wrote up his quote. We're going to present it to him soon. Hope he takes the project? Because it does sound like a very cool project. Because no, his thing is that he wants his XP 100 chambered in 45 Bushmaster to do deer hunting in the state of Illinois, which, oddly enough, is, no fun zone as we are. No, one of the things that Illinois does allow is pistol hunting for various size game. And then when you get into deer and stuff like that, they will allow pistols, but in rifle caliber, but they have to be single shot. So the thing with this pistol is it is literally going to be a single shot bolt action pistol. So in that regard, you have basically one chance to make the most accurate single shot pistol that you can, given the parameters that are given to you by the client. And to me, those are the kinds of jobs that I like, because
I feel like the recoil on that would be awful.
by itself it would be. But then you get into muzzle brakes, recoil compensators, stock composition. Again, goes back to what I was saying earlier about how gunsmithing is the trade of ADHD. It's like you got to take all these concepts that you have to master or be somewhat fluent in and just
Mix them all together and out pops a gun.
yeah. I say. So we did say this is an after hours. Like, the shop is closed, the guns are locked up. Lydia and I are quite enjoying libations. What are you drinking?
This is red wine, but I also put some strawberry cream stuff in this cup earlier, so there is also that floating around in here.
There you go.
So it's fine.
I was gonna say.
Looks a little weird, but it tastes okay.
So, I started off drinking a round of Benchmark single barrel that our friend Connor actually gave us last night. So one of the things that I like about Benchmark for the uninitiated in bourbon, Benchmark is one of the labels that is owned by Buffalo Trace. Mm-hmm. So if you like Buffalo Trace, but you don't like spending Buffalo Trace or Eagle Rare money, Benchmark is a very good alternative, and it's owned by the same distillery. And is usually quite less. I'd say another bourbon that I have come to love over the last few months is called Stedman's Select. Stedman's is made by the same group that makes the 1792 bourbon that you might see in stores and stuff, which is at the same grade level as Buffalo Trace. But yeah.
Say I'm the cheapskate over here. This is just barefoot. It's fine.
I
It's
was gonna
cheap.
say,
It's good.
Barefoot's not bad. I was gonna say,
It is an award-winning wine.
I was gonna say, according to their labels, they win a lot of blind tests, and from the few that I have had, like, it works.
So the problem is now I'm out of that. So the next glass is probably going to be some of that Captain Morgan over there.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with the captain. I say, little captain, little Jack Sparrow, little why is the rum always gone?
Hi, I am the reason the rum is always gone.
I was gonna say that would be another fun project for us to do too. Like, I wouldn't mind making some
Like
pirate
flintlocks
style pistols and stuff. So one of the things that I have also started low-key collaborating on. I'm going to talk about it on social media, because if I talk about it, then it'll actually happen, because I'll have to do it. But no, we have started the beginnings of collaborating with McNamara Knife Works on doing some pistol builds, because one of the things that I've wanted to do for a long time is take iconic swords and blades from history and translate them into rifles. So, for example, when you think about Excalibur from King Arthur, or you think about some of the swords from the Viking Age, you think Damascus, you think Wootz steel, and things like that, with fullers ground in, these intricate hand guards and stuff like that. One of the things that I have always been interested in is like, what would that look like now in an AR-15 model? Because I have always imagined, like a Damascus style pattern in the barrel, because the way that we make knife Damascus now is shit ton better than the way they made Damascus barrels back then. You think about pommels on a sword. The bottom end of the handle. It's like, why can't we add pommels on the bottom of a pistol grip? Why do pistol grips have to be this synthetic plastic shit? Why can't I make a pistol grip out of high quality wood or leather wrap or, things like that? So no, that's hopefully some future projects that will come out of the shop as we continue to develop different techniques and practices.
I say, which has also been something else that you and I have talked about over the years, is that one of your other dream projects that you want to attempt is making a sword and then turning that sword into a gun.
Yes. So for those of you that have known me for a very long time, and those who follow the shop on Facebook, because it's actually our cover photo. So aside from the Metal Gear 1911 project, one of my biggest project goals for the shop is, I started as a gunsmith. Being a gunsmith, I specialized and leaned more towards historical gunsmithing and reproduction stuff, which meant I had to learn blacksmithing. I've had a few blacksmithing mentors in my career and stuff like that. And then one of the book series that I fell in love with was Stephen King's The Dark Tower. So across those books, one of the things in King's lore is that the protagonist, Roland Deschain, is related to an alternative King Arthur type figure. So King Arthur's Excalibur eventually got melted down into a pair of revolvers that turned into the protagonist's firearms. I have had it in my head for a long time that I would like to recreate that project, while I am not entirely convinced that you could get an entire pair of revolvers out of an Excalibur longsword. I have had the idea of wanting to make my own Damascus Excalibur sword, and then make 2 of those billets, and then out of the second billet try to make a revolver.
Okay. Realistically does seem a lot more realistic and doable.
I feel like you could get one. Two would
Two
be
is pushing it because there's not a lot of metal in a single sword.
No.
As far as trying to make a revolver barrel, because that has to be a certain like thickness and strength to not just blow apart when you shoot a bullet through it.
Yeah. Well, and that's also one of the craziest things to us, on average, is like some of the stuff that people ask about, comments that we get on different things and everything. It's like Hollywood and a lot of reality TV prior to Forged in Fire, like, did a huge disservice to these kinds of crafts. Like,
What? You mean you can't just, like, magically take this tiny little piece of metal and make this humongous project out of it?
no, that's not how that works.
Oh. I've also always had issue with the reforging of the blade in Lord of the Rings. It's like, I don't feel like that's how that works, but okay.
Looks good,
It
though.
looks good on camera, but that's not how that works.
Can I get some more ice, please?
And here I thought I was a co-host. Apparently I am a bartender.
You are a co-host. I'm just co-hosting you to ask
okay.
for more ice. Coming from the lady who was like, I need to make sure that you're more in focus, because I'm just here to
I am.
moderate.
I am. I am. But I'm gonna go get you more ice now. I love you too. Speaking of all this blade work, he also is somewhat of a blacksmith.
A little bit. I'll say, I know enough to make good welds. I have made a handful of knives before. Most of my blacksmithing knowledge comes more from tempering and hardening, because when you get into historical guns and trying to reproduce obsolete parts and things like that, that's pretty much where that knowledge shines through, is because I will take bolt bodies and reheat treat them to make sure that they're right. We will manufacture and retemper springs to make sure that that's Zephyr, our chief security dog. But no, we'll take springs, we'll retemper them, make sure that they function correctly. Things like that. I was going to say, I've done a handful of stuff. I have made a handful of tools, which again, you guys have seen on Instagram and stuff like that. So I very much consider myself more of a gunsmith than a quote-unquote blacksmith, but there are a lot of similarities between the two trades that cannot be ignored. So I say we do a little bit of everything here, because nowadays that's basically what it takes to stay relevant. So but no, so for anybody else joining us, if you have any questions about gunsmithing or a particular firearm, or if you guys want to know more about Blue Coat Arms Company or me and Lydia, feel free to ask. Drop it in the comments. We are here to hang out with you guys and try and have some fun this evening.
Now that we have the panting dog out of the room.
He is a good boy for anybody who has been to the shop. Like,
He's loud, but
yeah. I say he is our chief of security. He makes 8 out of 10 people think twice. The 1911 usually takes care of the other two. But
True. So while I was putting him away, I was trying to come up with some random like gun questions.
yeah.
So, what is the difference between a regular rifle and a sniper rifle?
So, no, this is actually a really good question. So a regular rifle is basically just any long gun that is designed to shoot adequately a rifle cartridge. So a sniper rifle is a select range of calibers that are designed to shoot a specific distance. That one of the issues with that quote unquote definition is that the United States military, depending on their budget and their needs, change what that range is. So sniper rifle is technically a United States military designation. So when they change the definition, all of the firearms manufacturers that want a United States military contract have to change, build, and manufacture weapons that meet that definition. Kind of goes back to the age-old argument of assault weapon. Because we hear that all the time. And no, an assault weapon is an actual thing, has an actual definition, and is actually stated in legislation and military code of conduct, or like whatever the hell they call their stuff. BIM comment. But no, like, so there is a legit definition. So a assault rifle, for all intents purposes, is something that can do single shot fire, semi-automatic fire, and full auto fire. If it cannot do all three of those functions, then it is not technically an assault rifle.
Okay.
Same thing with a sniper rifle. If you have a rifle, whether it's semi-auto, bolt action, whatever, if it does not meet the definition or standard set forth by the military, because they are the only ones with a sniper rifle definition, then it's not a sniper rifle.
So they're the ones that get to determine what that is. And it changes.
Yeah. Like, no, they are the ones that set the definition and the trend for that term. So if they change it, and since they are the only ones that use it, then yeah, it changes. Commercially, no, there is no such thing as an assault rifle. But no, one of the things that I had said earlier, if you were out, so if you look at military designations, which are outside the scope of civilian arms, there are assault rifles, but the assault rifle has to be capable of doing single burst, 3-round burst, and full auto. If it cannot complete those three functions, then it's not considered an assault rifle. But, you know, the general public is stupid. Goes back to the whole Men in Black one quote where Tommy Lee Jones is like, if you tell one person something, one person is smart. If you tell a group, the group is stupid. Like, the group panics.
Here, I thought you were going to talk about Elvis going home.
I mean, hey. Considering before I met you, everything I knew about Elvis came from Lilo and Stitch. Like, that says something, so.
He has since been to Memphis and Graceland and has gotten a proper education.
It was much more about Beale Street than Graceland, but hey, I like my blues.
Hey, I got you to go see the movie when it came out, so I
You
count
did.
that as a win. Poppy would be proud.
Funny enough, gonna be doing another Elvis project this summer.
Yeah? There's no guns in that one, though.
Maybe we can change that. There's still time to talk to her.
I mean, there is a sheriff, so... See what you can work out.
I shot the sheriff. No.
Welcome to karaoke night at Blue Coat Arms Company. Your turn, I'm out.
Your turn. I was gonna say, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Those that are.
Yeah.
If you guys have more questions for us, again, happy to
Open
answer
book.
them. Just drop them in the comments.
Doesn't even have to be a firearm question necessarily.
No. Can be a question about us. Can be a question about the shot.
Make us question philosophy, our existence, whatever. Whatever floats your boat.
So.
Why bourbon?
Because bourbon is delicious.
But why specifically bourbon, not just whiskey or Tennessee whiskey or Irish whiskey?
I think for me, honestly, it started off as a proof thing.
Okay.
Because most bourbons are 90 proof or higher. And when I was growing up with my father, and got around to the age of drinking, Dad's philosophy for the longest time was only if it doesn't burn on the way down, it's not actual alcohol.
Fair. One of the purposes of the Second Amendment to all citizens to defend against tyranny, which allows us to hear whatever the government has. Tanks would be fun, but ATF, doesn't think we should have what we should.
100% agree, brother. Like,
If he had his way,
no doubt.
I would come home and it'd be like, hey, honey, I parked my new gun in the shop. What do you mean parked?
100%. With a little more land, I could make a runway for a raptor. Like, we could make it happen. But
Well, I guess you better become good friends with the farmer that owns the fields next door then, because we ain't got the land. That or figure out like a way to block off Curran Road.
But no, and that becomes point two. And again, I am not a lawyer. I barely finished college. Like, so anytime you guys hear me talk about here, the podcast, YouTube, whatever, about the Constitution, laws, whatever, like, it is my own opinion. But having read the Federalist Papers, done different...
Ooh. Yes, please.
Done different readings of Founding Fathers documents and stuff like that. When you actually get into the context of what was going on at the time, like,
There's our sound again. Hello.
There he is. But no, when you get into the context of different things, like, no, it carries a much different meaning than what people try to sell it as now with our Bill of Rights, constitutional amendments, the Constitution in general. And we've done a couple of podcast episodes about this, so if you guys want to go check out Spotify or YouTube, you'll probably find one of the episodes where I talk about the different things. But no, and again, it's like after 250 years, which is what we're coming up on this 4th of July, it's like, I am very much convinced that the only reason that most politicians want to try and take away our guns is because they want to do something that would get them shot at back then. So it's like, what's the deal? I was going to say, Federalist Papers are a very good read. Especially if you are a fan of Alexander Hamilton. Again, if you haven't seen that musical, I would also highly recommend that because it's given a lot of the like news and some of the things it got painted as. It was a pretty good retelling of his history and everything. And Cullen's having a fit. Oh yeah, moonshine, always good. Where legally available. If at all. Also saw something that I guess there's a Supreme Court case that's trying to turn that over, where they're trying to make it legal that you can start distilling your own alcohol again in small quantities for personal consumption.
The joys of home business when you have a kid.
Or, 2, 4. Yeah. So if you're just now joining us, my name is Hootey. I am the lead gunsmith and founder of Blue Coat Arms Company, your full-service gunsmithing shop located here in central Illinois. This is our first Facebook Live Q&A. If you're joining us, we welcome you. Hope that you've got a nice drink and maybe a smoke and some questions that you want to ask us, whether it's about a particular firearm, gunsmithing as a craft, maybe Second Amendment culture, or anything really. I was going to say, my wife and I are currently running the business full time. We've got 4 kids, which presents its own set of challenges. But no, so we want to hear from you guys and get to know you, our fans, followers, and clients, and want to be able to help you guys with whatever projects that you may have brewing or anything that you guys want to know. So just drop it in the comments and we will be more than happy to hang out and hash things out. say I also believe that Lydia put in the event description. There is a link to our link tree that will take you to our website, our merch store, and all of our social medias, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that fun stuff. So. Let's see. Bim says, I gotta send you pictures of my last 2 builds. Yes, we would love to see those. I was gonna say, we actually had dinner with Connor of McNamara Knife Works the other night. And he had made the comment that he was actually interested in a flintlock build that we might help him with at some point. But yeah, 300 black for me. AR for black. Nice 308 long range. Yes! We love those. I was going to say, before it got banned in Illinois, one of my pride and joys in my collection was a 308 AR-10 build that I had to do to graduate gunsmithing school, which was a treat because they basically gave us a barrel and an aluminum blank and said,
Here
you go, here's the blueprints, make it work. I was gonna say, and 300 blackout is like always a pleasure to shoot. Like,
So is there like a dream gun that you want?
oh yeah, no, I have a dream gun that I would love to own, but given the expense, current political climate, and the military not wanting to give them up, it's a pipe dream. But
Is
no.
this the Red Bull can? Okay.
Yes, it is. No. So Hootey's dream gun of all time for ownership is the Vulcan 20 millimeter cannon. It is the same gun that is set up on most fighter jets, most battleships, and things like that, because any gun that has to be liquid cooled and will shoot up to 1,250 Red Bull cans a minute, that's something I want to pull the trigger on, because you know how much hedge trimming that I could do around here.
Don't hurt my trees. I will hurt you.
But no, I have always loved the Vulcan cannon.
I have a couple of Henrys that are lit. Isn't the lever action that you taught me on a Henry?
Yeah, I was going to say. So, funny enough, before Lydia and I started dating, Lydia got cast as Annie Oakley in a stage musical, and she knew about the shop, knew that I was involved in firearms, and she asked if I would train her on how to shoot properly so she would be better suited for performing as Annie Oakley.
Because I'd only ever shot pistols.
Yeah, and no, one of the things that we worked on was lever action guns, because Annie Oakley's gun of choice was a 45-70 lever action. I would say I taught her on a 22 Henry Golden Boy, because that was the most like suitable thing given what she was actually doing. But yeah.
Which was funny because, most times if you're being taught to shoot, it's like, go slow, make sure you're aiming and everything, do all these things. And he basically went, here's the gun, here's how it works. There's your paper. I want you to shoot every single round in that as fast as you can. Okay.
Well, no, because my thought process was also, it's like, no, when you are teaching a new shooter, everything that she just said is true. And like, we did start there, but at the same time, it's like I had, what, 4 weeks, 5 weeks?
Roughly.
Yeah, to teach her how to go from novice to Annie Oakley confidence level with a lever action. So it's like, no, you gotta pick this up. This has got to become second habit now. So.
So he tells me, here, go at it. So I just unload this lever action on this paper target, and I think my groupings were like that.
I was going to say, overall, no, they were actually good. And this is something that I have said consistently to a lot of people that we work with. Friends, family, clients, stuff like that. No, in my experience with the last 10 years of being involved in the firearms industry, the best first-time shooters are women who have never picked up a gun before. And the biggest thing that I equate to that is that when they come in, they don't have any bad habits because most of them have never played video games, have never paid attention to most of the media and things like that. And they just also haven't been exposed to guns. And women also seem, my experience, to have a better temperament for taking direction.
I can see that because
it's like usually when I train guys how to shoot or boys how to shoot, it's like they have spent a few years playing Call of Duty or, whatever. Or, they had an uncle that taught them how to shoot one time, but it was, backwood, beer can, like whatever. And no, from a professional standpoint, you got to work through all those bad habits.
Yeah.
Compared to most women who are like, hey, I want to learn how to shoot. I want to know how to defend myself. I've never picked up a gun before. And you're basically given a blank slate. And it's a hell of a lot easier to teach that
than to try to explain to someone, no, you don't hold it like this.
Yeah. Well, and again, so going back to one of the things that we were talking about earlier with the live stream. So there was a point when I got asked to be the armorer for a musical production of Bonnie and Clyde. I spent 9 weeks custom designing and building all of the prop guns for that production. One of the things that I also demanded from the director and the staff was that I wanted all of the actors to go through a firearm safety course, because before I handed them a blank firing weapon, which those of you that don't know, blank firing weapons, they don't have a projectile. That's why they're called blanks. And most of the time, they are only filled with 1/2 to 1/4 of a powder charge. So there's less recoil. But no, I demanded from the staff as their armorer that I wanted to take anybody who was going to shoot a firearm to a live range, because I wanted them to experience what these machines could actually do when the trigger was pulled, just to give them the experience to be able to actually react to these guns. And all of the reviews and audience comments and stuff that we got on that production, like, it was mind-boggling.
Still double fisting, just for the record.
Woo! But no, like,
I love being a good influence.
authenticity is key to some of this stuff. And I feel like, again, that's a big miss for Hollywood in general, because as of late, in my experience, since I got involved with firearms, like, I think the last good firearm, like, movie thing that I have had since I got involved in the industry was John Wick. But you go back through the behind the scenes stuff and like the things with all of the training and stuff that Keanu Reeves went through for that movie. Like, they actually took the time to build something that was believable.
Mm-hmm. Which, and I think we actually talked about this a little bit in the last podcast episode that we did, because we did Bonnie and Clyde, so we talked about the production.
Con has entered the chat. Hello,
Hey!
brother.
But no, so we talked about the production that he was just mentioning a lot. And I had mentioned the difference between that production where they used actual prop guns with blank rounds and all that for their production versus the production of Annie Get Your Gun that I was in, where we didn't have that. We didn't have an armor, we didn't have blanks, we didn't have any of that. It was basically just fully prop guns that didn't do anything that we had to time and pretend that there was recoil to a sound effect being set off from the sound booth, which was another reason that I asked him to teach me how to shoot, because there's a big difference between, actually firing a gun versus, oh, bang. Like, there has to be that, like, sense of recoil and everything to make it believable. And having never fired a rifle before, I was like, I have no idea how to react to this.
Yeah.
So I need you to teach me how to shoot this for real so that I can pretend to do this on stage.
So Anthony asks, feelings on 22 versus a 9mm. So I'm gonna
cute.
need a little more context. Are we talking just as a round? Are we talking as like a concealed carry? Because 22, very cheap, fun plinking ammo. Like,
Kind of.
9mm isn't a bad round for affordability either. But no, like, they both got their trade-offs and things like that.
I have an opinion for this from like a range perspective, because going back to the first time I ever got taken shooting by our ex-state trooper friends, they had an array of different firearms, different sizes of rounds, and they handed me, the bigger stuff first to learn on and to shoot, and we were actually shooting down the metal targets that like fall as you hit them.
Yeah.
So we were learning on like 9mm, 45s, things like that. And then they handed me a 22 and said, well, here, shoot this one. And it wouldn't even knock down the target. And I was so mad. I'm like, give me the other one back.
Yeah. Okay, so Anthony clarifies in his comment, a round, then in a carry. So 22, best round to practice fundamentals.
Yeah.
At the range, because the more that you practice basics, the better shot you will become. We have actually been commissioned to convert a lot of AR-15 style rifles that are used in 3-gun competitions and other competition shooting like scenarios into 22, so that those shooters can practice daily on a better budget. They already know how their rifle works. They want to maintain their zero. They want to maintain their trigger, pull procedures.
They just want to spend less on ammo.
Yeah, they want to spend less on ammo, which, given the prices today, who can blame them? But yeah, so no, we've done a lot of that. So as a carry round, as a self-defense round, 9 millimeter has got better stopping power. I know that's kind of a, that's a term for a lot of people. But no, for an everyday concealed carry round for the normal carrier, 9 millimeter is better than 22. Because when adrenaline kicks in, pressure kicks in, everything like that, the 22 doesn't become quite as effective. But
It'll hurt, but you can power through it.
right. But if you are committed to consistently practicing with a 22 and basically want to become a live or die 22 shooter, and you actually commit to the practice and the determination of learning how that round works, I will tell you that most general surgeons in the United States hate the 22 round, because when they get somebody on their operating table that has been shot by a 22 round, there is usually not a lot that they can do to save them, because when the round hits, it just instantly fragments.
So it's a lot harder to remove and a lot harder to fix.
Yeah, but you have got to be accurate as hell. Which is the exception, not the rule. So, as a defense round, when you are put in a legal situation of self-defense and it is life or death, like
22 is still
9 mil.
decent, but you can do damage, but it's better to have the other.
So Anthony asks, so side convo, what you smoking and drinking? So I am drinking Stedman's Select, which is a bottom cut of the 1792 bourbon.
I am honestly double fisting because my sister brought me a second drink, but I have a Cayman Jacks that is orange juice and a guave, apparently. It's Mexican Sunrise. And I also have Captain Morgan because I ran out of wine, so I poured that in here. Which is honestly my drink of choice when I can.
And I've got a Yingling Black and Tan that I haven't opened yet. And then as far as smoking,
Did you forget what it is?
I don't know where the wrapper went, but no. So this is a Diesel cigar.
It is a Whiskey Row bourbon barrel aged rabbit hole.
So this is a Diesel Rabbit Hole Co-op cigar. So basically, this is a Diesel cigar that was aged in a Rabbit Hole bourbon barrel. I have grown quite accustomed to these in the last year or so. As a cigar smoker, it's a mid-tier. It is very much a mid-tier cigar. It's about $10 to $12 a stick, depending on quality and stuff like that. But no, I was gonna say I enjoy these. I say I typically enjoy Diesel cigars or Christoph cigars, which I actually found out recently is Illinois based, and we're all about supporting local, since that's also what we are.
I say I like the, I think it's Maduro is how it's pronounced.
Yeah, the Christoph Maduro.
I think that's one of my favorites that you smoke. It has a really nice smell.
I also like the Christoph Vengeance, because, the whole Batman vibe. Vengeance!
I feel like no matter what we're doing, it's always going to somehow come back to Batman.
I'll figure out a way. It's fine.
We did a video for our school community last night, and one of the clips in there has our medium-sized pop figure Batman as a cameo in there.
I was gonna say, for those of you who have not followed us on Instagram, you should. And for those of you who have, you know that the gun shop is basically a
Glorified
walk-in
Batcave.
Like,
You even have a sign on the back of the door that says Batcave.
I do.
There's also a decent sized Batman that lives up in the corner of the shop, just keeping an eye on everything. So there's that as well.
Yeah. I was going to say, we have one of, I think, the largest Funko Pop Batmans that have been molded, and it is crafted after the Michael Keaton Batsuit, and it is amazing. It's 48 inches tall.
I don't think it's quite that big. I could be wrong.
I thought that's what the box said, but I'm a guy. I can't measure.
18 inches tall.
Big difference.
48 sounds better.
Again, guy.
No, it is 18. It's 46 centimeters. There we go. That's where it came from.
So we'll say you're close. We also won it playing arcade games at a place down by St. Louis. So
Yeah, we went to an arcade in St. Louis on one of our rare days
St.
off.
Peter's, but
Yeah, but no, near St. Louis on one of our rare days off, and we won it playing cornhole and beer pong. So tell me you're Midwest without...
and coin pushers.
Yeah. Yeah, so tell me you're Midwestern without telling me.
Well, since you're hanging out in here, do you have any questions for us, James?
No.
No?
I say our nephew is bouncing around in here, but is also being camera shy.
Yeah.
So
It's a stitch.
Yes, that is Stitch. Yeah. Hey, there's a question.
okay.
Since he pulled my Stitch puzzle thing out of the cabinet.
Puzzle.
Laser guns.
Oh, those are cool.
So I do think laser guns will get there. I don't know when, but if you look at the actual scientific research of how they work and things like that, no, like we need to get more efficient in laser technology and power supply. And it's one of those things that took time. It's like, look how long it took us to get cell phones.
Yeah.
And microwaves and, other stuff. So it's not that it is unobtainable. It's just technology's not there yet.
Which is fun going back to different media things from when we were kids. I'll just age us right now. It's fine. But no, because one of my favorite shows growing up was Gargoyles. And I remember one of the things in that was there was basically a laser gun, but the whole premise of it was that the actual beam/bullet was completely invisible. The only reason that you saw the red laser line whenever they shot was only for aiming.
Yeah. Well, and then I would also make the argument too, though, of how much of that was quote unquote technology versus censorship.
Right.
Because, Gargoyles was a cartoon.
It was, but it also did.
Because that was not the 90s Batman the animated series, but the one that came out in the early 2000s, which was the Batman. You watch that, because we watch that with the kids, obviously, because, Batman nerd. But no, most of the handguns in that, they look like glorified tasers.
Yeah. That's fair.
So, but no, I would say that we're getting there. It's just technology needs to catch up to the principle. I also know that the Navy forever, and if you want to Google search it, you can. This is also something that's talked about in the Metal Gear series that I talked about earlier, and some other things. No, the Navy's got an EMP cannon. It's a giant electromagnetic projectile cannon that basically shoots a round that is like the size of this at 200,000 feet per second. And no, that thing will take out buildings, battleships, like whatever. And no, in Metal Gear video game, no, they converted it down to a handheld rifle. And it's like, given enough time and technology research, like that could be possible.
Just not right now.
I know another thing that has been going on just in the firearms industry is like a what do I want to say? Like background. No, Space Force. Whether you like it or not here to debate that tonight. The military branch that Trump invented in his first term. We have a Space Force now. Huh. But anyway, so the Space Force, no, they have actually been R&Ding military grade weapons that could be used in space. Because what's one of the common things that you encounter in space? Having a live fire round with an ignition cartridge in a room full of pressurized oxygen. It's like, how do you get around that? So no, that is something that is also being looked at.
If you are asking if this is going to be at the gathering, then yes, probably. And also, I appreciate the Rumplemints thing, because that was one of my drinks of choice back when I was in bands all the time. Because whenever you're having a rough voice night because of weather or sinuses, that is a good way to clear yourself out. See, he also said that he thinks over the next 15 years that'll probably be a thing with the laser technology.
It very
and
well
guns.
could be, but you never know. I was gonna say, hell, we got promised flying cars by the early 2000s, and
2015, I think it was.
Yeah,
for
and
Back to the Future.
Best we got now is Tesla. So
best. I don't even want to talk about those stupid trucks.
Not the trucks, the trash cans, or whatever.
But hey, they're bulletproof though.
Nope.
Because that's been tested numerous times.
My nephew just called the Cybertrucks a trash can, and I can't disagree.
I say.
It's not even your opinion.
I am a fan of Elon, but come on. We can do better.
We can agree to disagree on that. So have firearm manufacturers ever done collaborations with other brands like whiskey and cigars do? Or is it just, I am Glock, I am Remington, I am...
So there have been collaborations with different firearms over the years. I, to my knowledge, cannot recall there being a car brand or a whiskey brand. So one of the things that comes to my memory, which was early on being a gunsmith, there was actually a gun manufacturer that collaborated with Call of Duty, of all brands. And no, they made... I don't like Call of Duty as a gunsmith, so I apologize I did a whole podcast episode on this, so if you want to check that out, you'll understand more.
We're also gonna dive back into the whole video game versus gunsmith thing at some point. Don't know when, but I have like a whole list of things that we're gonna go over.
But no, so there was a firearm manufacturing company that was able to collaborate with Call of Duty. I don't remember which game it was, so if you're on here, forgive me. But they created a working model of a honey badger rifle, which was like a short barrel assault rifle thing. And no, they sold them. Like, they made them. They were very popular for the limited run that they had. Yeah. I know, because again, that's one of the things why I am very much Metal Gear Solid or Tarkov. Tarkov! The Tarkov video game is also very good at being realistic in its firearm mechanics and stuff like that. There was also... Can't remember the name of it right now, so forgive me. But no, there was another firearm company. They got slated to create the 1911 Viper that was used in John Wick 2, I think. But no, because it was supposed to be like a movie gun. Like, the whole point of the movie was, like, to have this, like, mythological 1911 for the movie. And, no, they went so far as to make a working version of it. And have sold, like, a limited run of them. So.
That's fair. I was just curious because, like, I know... Like I said, like whiskey and cigars is the first one that's coming to mind because it's right here in front of me. But like I know different companies and brands and stuff have done like collaborations together where they've made something specific.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if firearms did that too, or
no. And I mean, it could be one of those like, oh no, Anthony, the 1911 is not overrated at all. We can go on about that all night if you want to.
Literally his favorite gun.
But no.
You opened up a can of worms. Be careful.
To finish Lydia's question, I have often wondered too if collaborations like that just aren't overlooked in the sense of like, there are plenty of firearm, like whiskey collaborations or cigar collaborations or other stuff that could be done. It's just, I don't know if it's ever been thought about. Because it's like, again, it's like Anthony's point, 1911. Why couldn't we take a custom 1911 and give it a set of wooden handles that were made from a bourbon barrel from a whiskey company? Because at that point, like, the handles aren't taking any recoil. It's decorative anyway. Like, why not?
Yeah.
If a whiskey company wanted to take the time to make brass rings around a barrel for like a select thing, age a bottle of whiskey, and then a gunsmith take one of those brass rings and make something, like, why not?
It would be really cool.
But no, I think that's just one of those like untapped ideas that just haven't come to fruition. Kimber is great. Kimber's very proud of what they have. No, Kimbers are good. Kimbers deserve the love that they get. I can't usually afford what Kimbers cost, but as a low paid gunsmith, because I set my own salary. No, I love shooting Kimbers. Kimbers are very smooth. They are very great operating pistols. But no, to me, 1911s are. They require a little more setup. They do require a little bit more maintenance, but it's like, so do fucking sports cars and muscle cars. Like, 2 world wars, baby. Like,
It's just another thing we got into.
they have earned their spot.
Which is funny because I've actually been trying to find a gun that fits my hand properly to get a concealed carry gun for myself. And I haven't gotten one yet, partially because of money and partially because I just haven't found one that I like.
Yeah.
And usually if something comes through the shop, it's, hey, let me hold that real quick. And
No, and I was gonna say that is one of the benefits of being in a gunsmith shop is I basically get paid to play and shoot everything under the sun, and so it's
no, honey, the cat cannot come outside.
Why?
we got about an hour, and then we'll come outside. Okay?
Why?
Because we're doing this.
Well, no, you can't talk.
I say, you want to say hi to the people?
Yeah,
Okay,
I do.
come say hi to the people. Say hi, people.
Hi.
Okay.
Alright, go play.
Okay. But Mama, I don't bless me.
Oh no.
Sorry, the guard winning the boo's not doing her job.
You're okay. I say that's just our son.
Yeah,
Mama, when that
I'll be back.
But no,
I love you.
one of the benefits of being a gunsmith and owning a gun shop is you get paid to shoot everybody else's stuff. So you get exposed to a lot of different platforms, a lot of different companies, ergonomics, whatever. And so I have used that to try and help Lydia figure out what her best everyday carry is going to be eventually.
So I
And yeah,
think we have determined different ones that I have held and all that. I haven't gotten to really shoot many of them, but like just overall feel, we have been leaning toward a 9mm 1911.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, because she likes my 1911, and to Anthony's credit, he says Rock Island 1911s are not bad. No, they are not. I have carried a Rock Island 1911 in 45. I've actually got their tactical version, and that has been my everyday carry on my hip for the last 7.5 years. Never had a problem, never had a jam, like, good to go. No, they are one of the best budget-friendly platforms that I have come across. And to that, Lydia has shot it, held it, carried it, like done everything with it. And for her stature and hands and everything, it's just slightly too big.
yeah, so just a little bit of difference here.
Yeah. But no. So 1911 to me is one of the best platforms overall. But no, for a woman, I would say no, 10mm or 9mm might be better.
Mm-hmm.
And also you get more rounds when you go down in caliber, but
If you're a good shot, you don't need them, but you know.
7 rounds, all you need. 380. Hey, if that's what you're into, then all good here. If you know what you're doing, it all shoots the bullseye the same, and it all needs maintenance. And if you need maintenance, let us know, because we will be more than happy to accommodate.
Yeah. How many times have you let that go out?
I don't know at this point. I'm talking and conversing and trying to do the whole host thing, which we're trying to figure out as we embark on this journey of social media and trying to make guns cool without getting banned.
I will say that has been one fun thing with this whole situation is figuring out like
what can we do and talk about without getting canceled?
Where is the line, especially with the different like social media platforms of like what we can say and post before they're like, no, you can't do that.
That's crazy. No, because like I've had Facebook forever, but I picked Facebook because that was like, that was the social media when I was growing up and everything. So no, I picked that for the shop. Never got involved in Instagram or anything else. And then when Lydia came on to help us and was taking over social media, she was like, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you try YouTube? And blah, 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 blah. And so we have slowly expanded our platforms and our following and stuff. And we have gotten generally good success. Yeah. But I have also noticed it's been funny because like we recently got on TikTok. The only reason we started TikTok was because we already had reels and videos to post from the other stuff. But the day after we posted a bunch of videos,
that are already up everywhere else, mind you.
Yeah, we started getting notifications of banned, pulled, like, all these things. And so we went through the appeal process, and they were like, one of the options was other social media platforms allow our content. So that's what I picked. And then a day after that, all the videos were back up. And it's like, which was crazy to me because when we first researched TikTok, like, they've got some of the most open views about firearms compared to like Meta. But it's, Facebook allows us to do this. Instagram allows us to do these kinds of things. YouTube hasn't had a problem with what we're doing.
And then like within 12 hours.
The gun-friendly platform is like, no.
So it has been a very interesting social media journey with this.
So, if you guys could like our stuff, share it, comment, do all the things to make the algorithm do what it's supposed to do. We would greatly appreciate it.
Make the algorithm like us, please.
Before it finds out what we do.
Hi, Colin.
I get all the way down here just to realize I have to put the eel all the way down.
Yeah. So, it's also been fun finding the line of like in-shop content versus just family content, because since we are a family-run business, we have been trying to like ride the line of that with what we post for stuff. And it's like some weeks it feels like it goes a little too far one way or the other.
Well, and that was one of the things when we first started out too, because it's like I had social media, but it was more or less because in this era of entrepreneurship, it's like well, if you don't have a Facebook and an Instagram and a YouTube and this and that, like, do you really have a business kind of thing?
Yeah.
But at the same time, we personally are like 100% anti social media. It's like
We post very rarely.
if I didn't have a business, I would not be on social media. The only reason I have a social media is because you have to have personal, like, Facebook account in order to have a business account. And no, so Lydia and I have had a lot of hard line discussions of what are we willing to share about our day-to-day lives and how much do we want to show the kids and our personal life versus the business and blah blah blah. But it kind of turned into one of those things of the more we shared and the more things we did, like,
The more interaction we got.
this is the stuff that you guys interact with the most, aside from, like, the gun stuff. So that's...
Which is nice to see that people genuinely, like, care about the family side of the business, too.
Yeah.
But it definitely was an interesting, like, eye-opener of, oh, well, this stuff works.
Because I'll be 100% honest. We do this kind of stuff for you guys because, being honest, this is painful for us. Like...
He's at least good at it. He is enough of an extrovert, like, I can give him something to talk about and he'll just talk. I am just awkward me. I prefer to be behind the computer and not have to talk. But
yeah. But no. So we appreciate you guys that are here. And we hope that you will help us share this out, grow this, and make it what we know that it can be.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do more of these down the line and get some different questions.
Yeah. But no, because like we said earlier, so some of the things that we're looking at doing in the next couple of years. So as a gunsmith shop, we are regulated by the ATF, federal government, obviously.
State government.
Yeah, well. But no, our license is set to expire next May.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to go through a renewal process. But one of the things that we are actually looking at doing is expanding our license classification. We are hoping to move to a Type 7, which is manufacturing. And then on top of that, we are also looking to specialize in a special occupation tax, SOT, which means that we will also be set up to start manufacturing full auto suppressors and NFA items. So for those of you that are joining us out of the no fun zone that is Illinois, we might be able to build you something that will be a fun-filled project. And for those of you that have law enforcement and military connections, wink, wink, might be able to do some fun projects and things like that, you know, might help some people. So,
And then I will also be officially on the license for the shop. Right now I am just behind the scenes, so I am only official in the sense of I keep the social media up and running while he does everything else.
She says that, but she is the boss.
I keep him on track, that's about it. Although to be fair, like this thing back here, our dry erase board has been the thing that I think has kept us on track the most. This is literally our dining room, and this is how we keep ourselves on track.
We have daily meetings in the dining room. And then I also have a dry erase board that you guys have seen, like, in the shop. Like, this is how some small businesses function.
We need
raw and uncut.
Yeah. Which is something else that I think a lot of like small businesses kind of try to shy away from, is like the down and dirty, like raw backside of how everything runs. Like it doesn't all start out like all roses and working properly and, all that fun stuff. Like, it is rough and it is raw and it is your children running in and interrupting you 20 times a day. And
I was going to say, for those of you who may be wondering, a typical day-to-day schedule for Blue Coat Arms Company is this one.
oh, you want to say hi again? Say hi.
Say hi!
Okay, no, I
But
don't.
no. So this one may or may not be knocking on our door
It's 3
somewhere between 3 and 5 a.m.
Oh, I called it too.
And then we
Can I get help?
get up somewhere between 7 and 8 a.m., have a cup of coffee. We'll have a 30-minute to an hour long meeting in the morning to talk about what we need to accomplish. And then Lydia will start in on social media, quotes, contacting customers, back-end stuff. I will go to the shop and start working on work orders and projects that we've got going in. And then we will have a quick lunch. I will kiss the kids, spend a couple of minutes with them, go back to the shop, and then around 9 o'clock, Lydia and I will have dinner, might watch an episode of something, go to bed, and then start the whole thing over again. 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Like,
I have a question.
You have a question?
what's that?
So, like, you know how, like, you, like, clean
No, you gotta tell it to the camera and you gotta say hi. So,
Come join us.
this is our nephew James.
So, what is your question?
So I have a question for both of y'all.
Yep.
Well, mostly you. So, like, you, like, clean and, like, fix guns, right?
Hmm?
So, like, has there, like, ever been a gun that you, like, can't fix, couldn't fix, or clean?
Are you pointing at me or her?
You.
Oh, me.
I don't work on the guns.
You're learning.
I am.
No, so I have had a few guns that have presented challenges, but part of being a gunsmith is knowing how to research different guns, knowing where the historical documents are and things like that. And then when I run into things that I don't know, I contact my mentors or other gunsmiths or the school that I attended to get the information that I need. No, I was gonna say that's also one of these things about this craft is like there are a handful of people that are like super hyper competitive that want to hold on to everything, but for the most part, like the firearms industry is very welcoming to everybody. Like we want to see people exceed, we want to help people, we want to see people, keep this craft alive because it goes back to what I said before. Last report that Lydia and I read or got was like there are over 600 million firearms in the United States that are known about. But out of all of the FFL licenses that are designated as gunsmiths, like there's only like 4,500 of us. Like there is a lot of work to be had.
I say. And that's not to say like that everything can be fixed versus replaced or whatever, because we've run into something with that recently, which you have mentioned on our Instagram. But
Yeah. But no, to your point. So we had a customer who bought a CZ P10 used online. Haha. But no, he bought it used, had it online transferred here. So we went through the transfer, did his background check, everything was approved, got signed off, like everything was fine. 3 weeks later, he contacted us and he was like, I fucked up. Or screwed up. I don't know what I can say on Facebook. I'm still learning. But anyway, no. So I screwed up. I tried to put a red dot optic on this by myself, and one of the optic screws stripped. It's like, okay, we can look at that. We get into it, and there was evidence of red Loctite on the micro screw, which is a big no-no. Like, I'm not against using thread locker for sights because you obviously want your sights to stay solid and at zero, but red Loctite on a screw that is maybe this big, like, no.
There are some things you do not do.
No. So we went to drill the screw out and extract it, and nothing that we did would work for this thing. Upon further work and examination, the only conclusion that I could come to was that this thing had not only been red Loctited, it was probably cross-threaded also. We got down to a point that we had to call the client and be like, this is how much it might cost you for me to continue going down the path that we are on versus a new slide. Which, as a gunsmith, not an armorer, it pains me to just do part swapping. I want to fix what you have. I want to actually keep the gun that you have presented me running in its current fashion. But that's also one of the complications of being a gunsmith, is that you have to separate your own personal goals and pride versus what is going to be the most economical for the customer. So, fortunately, the customer agreed to a new slide. It is on order. We are waiting for it to arrive, and hopefully we will have them back up and running shortly. But yeah, that's also one of those weird things, because after 10 years of gunsmithing, you never know what is going to hit the bench and what issues that you are going to run into.
Also, going back to something you mentioned in that conversation was like how welcoming and like friendly and helpful that other gunsmiths want to be. We have made this joke amongst ourselves a lot because, like you mentioned earlier, like we watch Forged in Fire, and we have watched other like artsy type like competition shows. Like we've watched Ink Master, and there was a metalworking one. I don't remember what the name of that one was, and like a glass blowing one. Like we've watched a couple different ones, and it is so funny watching like the tattoo artists and the glass blowers and all that are like so touchy and so like, oh my god, they said this to me, and oh my god, I better go cry now, versus like the Forged in Fire people or the metalworker people that like are physically going at something and are in competition with each other.
Hey, Mom.
Hi. But then we'll turn to each other and be like, hey, you good? You need help with that? Or hey, like, I think this is your problem.
Mom. I'll push that again.
Okay, well, hold on one second.
Hold on.
Because, like, they'll just be like, hey, like, I think this is your problem. That's why you're having your issue. And, oh, yeah, thanks, cool. And, like, helping each other out. And it's like, okay, is it a difference between the ones that are literally smacking something and, like, physically wearing themselves out versus the ones that aren't? Is it just the difference in
Blacksmiths are too tired to argue.
truth? Like, is it a difference in the craft itself? Like, it's so weird the difference between different kinds of like artists and craftsmen that want to help each other out versus the ones that do nothing but put each other down.
No, and I agree. Well, I agree to a point because that's been one of the things that I have noticed with this trade in general compared to other trades. Because it's like you look at other trades, like there are plumber apprenticeships. And electrician apprenticeships and welder apprenticeships and things like that. But then when you get into stuff that's like gunsmithing or blacksmithing, you are very constricted on where you live. Because it's like, I was lucky enough to get involved with a program that required apprenticeship, but also had the connections to fulfill that. But there are a lot of people that come into the trade of gunsmithing that don't get the benefit of an apprenticeship just because either there's no one in their area or it's such a select market that those that are still practicing the trade for whatever reason don't want to train anybody because they don't want to give up any business.
I finished the stitch.
So
He fixed my stitch.
there you go. But no, which is actually one of the things that we are trying to fix in a small way. Because we have actually gone on the platform school, which is an online community for online-based learning. And if you go on our link tree in the description of the event, you'll find it. But Lydia and I have actually started writing gunsmithing courses that you can take online to at least get you proficient enough to do it yourself repairs and services.
Yes.
And if it's something that you want to pursue beyond that, we are working on options that will help you take it further.
Yeah, say right now the classes are basically just literal basics that, you know, everybody needs to know regardless of what path they're taking, but we're working towards having the next tier up, which is a little bit more in depth, and then another tier after that that is like full on learning of the trade, and then past that, say
That's the goal. I was gonna say, because as old and hands-on as gunsmithing is as a trade, one of the things that I realized belonging to the quote-unquote millennial generation is that if this trade is to survive, it needs to get better at portraying to the online platform. So that's something that we are working on, trying to modernize and stuff like that. So if you guys want more information on that, we are more than happy to answer questions on that, help you with that. Yeah. So again, just let us know down in the comments. We are try to be an open book about everything. Like, you know, our number one thing is authenticity, and
clearly
we are just us. So
messes and all.
and we are back to just us.
Yay!
Woo!
But, you know.
So, but we're here till 10:30.
Guess we better figure out something to talk to each other about then, huh?
Guess so.
Feel like it's your turn.
It's my turn.
Yep.
Okay.
We were clearly very prepared for this.
We honestly didn't know how this was going to go. But again,
It went
as
pretty
a
well.
small content creator, just getting started, like, we're going through the growing pains. You don't know how this is going to go or what's going to happen or when the kids are going to run in uninterrupted, like,
Multiple times.
so.
Well, that's one of the things we kind of preach is the wrong word, but one of the things we post about a lot on our Facebook for the shop is the fact that it is literally a family business and that it is us and the kids, and no matter what we're doing, whether it be him working out in the shop or me trying to work on something on the computer for the admin side of things, like, it is constant interruptions. It is constant questions. It is literal messy family life mixed into all of this. But
And it's part of it.
Yeah.
Like,
we make it work.
yeah. So I guess that is a question that I would have.
Okay.
So for you now, given being a small business owner, as a woman, not necessarily in the firearms industry, but maybe just like as a business owner as a whole, do you have advice for other single moms, stay-at-home moms, like any moms that might be contemplating going on a journey like this now that you have had experience with this?
Embrace the chaos. Maybe do some squats because you will never sit still. If you try to sit down to do something, you will have to stand up and go chase down a kid or get a snack or something 25 times in a minute. Don't chase perfection, because the longer that you do that, the more you are going to wear yourself out. Confide in your partner, because especially if you are doing a business with said partner, like, they're dealing with a lot of the same stuff you are, and it is amazing the things that you can overcome and work through when you actually talk to each other about it versus just like, well, I don't want to bother them with it, so I'm just going to keep it to myself. Because we have had days like that where, like, I will be literally on the edge of a breakdown because I have spent all day trying to work on one thing and being interrupted by the kids. And I'm trying to keep them out of his hair so that he's not being bothered. Just for him to be like, hey, I'm here too. So.
No. And I agree with that. Like, no, small business ownership, especially when your partner is your spouse, like, no, it is very much a give and take situation, being honest with each other about your own limitations.
Yes.
Especially day to day, because it changes day to day. Like, there are days where this is 50-50. There are days where it's 60-40. There are days where it's 95-5. Like,
yeah.
But if you are not honest with each other about where you are day to day,
everything crashes.
yeah, it makes it that much more difficult. But coming from a place of having started the business where it was just me versus having someone that is willing to share the load, do the work, take on the stress, like, would not change it for anything. So,
So yeah. So that'd be my advice. Just it's gonna be chaotic. Let it be chaotic, because the more you fight it, the worse it gets. Which I guess is a fair question for you. Like, you did start this by yourself. You did this by yourself for near 10 years. Like, how much has it changed between then and now?
oh, it's been drastic. Honestly, like, that is not to blow smoke up her ass or anything. Because, no, and like, she has even commented that she has seen it. It's like, no, I started Blue Coat Arms Company almost 10 years ago by myself. I was married to my ex-wife. We had a kid, my first kid, on the way. And no, had zero support in the business. I decided to start it anyway. Revenue and stuff started coming in, but it was basically one of those things that, like, it was one of those things that I essentially used to avoid a bad situation that was going on at the time. But no, and then like it just continued to grow year after year. So one of the things that you will hear a lot of market analysts and stuff talk about is, you know, that the generalized market for small businesses and companies over the US grows by about 10%. So if you're not growing by 10%, then you are actually shrinking. Well, over 10 years, Blue Coat Arms has basically stayed
At that
on that metric, even as a side hustle in Illinois, which hates guns, which again should say something about the need for gunsmiths. But no, and then we hit a point where Lydia and I got together. She showed a little bit of interest in the shop, but wasn't exactly sure, you know, what to do to support the shop or anything.
It's
Like,
basically, I love you, I'm here, what can I do, even though there's nothing I can do, kind of thing.
yeah, but no. And then so she ultimately lost her job through difficult circumstances. And no, we had a long conversation about, well, you can find another job, we can do this, we can do that. You know, you can come to work for me full time, which is kind of the way it started. But then after just a few short months, it went from you are going to work for me to you are going to partner with me and help me grow this. And in the short amount of time that we have been running this new version of the company, like, we have grown exponentially. Like, I have had more work orders than I have ever had in a given year. Content wise, we are all over the place. We're now have launched this online training community for do-it-yourself gunsmiths and people that, you know, might be interested in doing it professionally. And no, I was gonna say, there is no way that I could have done all of this by myself, coming from a place of having tried to do it by myself. Like, when I started Blue Coat Arms Company, like I had a general like, what is the big picture? What is the goal of this company? And like I saw it clearly, but I had no way to obtain it until I got hurt.
Which I blush about, but it has definitely been different the last few months versus the last few years watching like how things were running for you by yourself versus us as a pair.
Yeah.
And it's been wild, but I'm excited to see it continue to grow.
So, me too. But so again, we are Hootey and Lydia, a Blue Coat Arms Company. If you are just now joining us, I am the founder and lead gunsmith of the company.
And I am Lydia. I do all the back end admin side of the shop. I do all the social media accounts. I do things like scheduling, customer database, things like that. So
Yeah, I'd say this is the first Facebook Live that we have
ever done.
attempted to do. But no, so if you like this, drop a like or a comment. If you want to leave us a question about a particular firearm platform, gunsmithing as a craft, if you got a question about
The company.
legislation, like whatever, we're here to hang out with you guys and answer your questions the best that we can. So.
We also have my nephew like sitting behind the computer staring at us right now, so that's fun.
Yeah. This beer has also gotten very warm and very flat. But
I say.
because again,
I miss my mouth.
this is after hours, so
Pro tip, don't miss your mouth.
shouldn't miss any target. But
Nope.
especially your mouth.
What?
I'm gonna switch to this now.
That is not good. Yeah. Like it is cold, but it is not cold enough.
Nope.
Got come back.
So
Our nephew is coming with another question. So this is James for anybody who might be joining us.
So, it's not about guns, but like, how do you come up with like the name for like the company?
Oh, how'd I come up with the name for the company? That's a good question.
that's a good question.
So when I was in gunsmithing school, so I went to Sonoran Desert Institute, which is an online accredited program for gunsmithing. One of the companies that I got hooked up with for interning and mentoring was Dixie Gunworks. Huge black powder reproduction and service company. So got hooked up with them, got to know the company, learned a lot of different things, but living in Illinois, I did not think that a like Dixie Confederate like name base was gonna land well.
Probably not.
I was also working at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum at the time when I started Blue Coat Arms Company. And no, so there we've got a Civil War-esque exhibit that talks about when the war started with Fort Sumter. We've got a Gettysburg mural, like a whole bunch of references to the Civil War. And one of the things that hit me one day was going back to the Revolutionary War. Actually, we had was one of the things that Paul Revere shouted during his midnight run was, "The redcoats are coming, the redcoats are coming." And so I had thought about that's kind of what sparked me associating the Union soldiers as bluecoats. So that eventually turned into Bluecoats Arm Company. That's also why our logo is a skull with a Union soldier cavalry hat on the skull with a Union shield and black powder muskets, and yeah. So, good question.
That is a good question. Another question for you. I'm gonna ask it, dip out, and come back in. So, if you didn't carry a 1911, what would you carry?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, if I wasn't going to carry a 1911, what would I carry? Well, I definitely would not carry a Glock.
Knew that.
Has nothing to do with the current Illinois legislation that may or may not be passed. No. Glocks are decent guns. The problem that I have had with them over the years is I do not like their trigger pull, and I don't like the ergonomics for my digits. Like, just has never felt good. Honestly, I think with some of the project guns that we have had in the past couple of months, if I wasn't going to carry a 1911, I might carry a Springfield Armory Echelon, because we did some work on one of those recently for a customer that wanted it tuned and sighted in as their concealed carry, and like it fit really nice.
Say, my dad actually has a Springfield Armory.
Yeah. But no, the Echelon was like no, it was great. So
Yeah. I say, because different ones that we've had come to through the shop, because like we were talking earlier, I've been trying to figure out what I want for a concealed carry. Say, I think we had a Ruger at one point that came through that wasn't bad.
Yep.
There was something else that I liked, and I don't remember what it was. It might have been a Kimber, which is like, yeah, it's nice, but it's expensive.
Yeah, I was gonna say again, Kimbers are great. It's just Kimber is very proud of what they have, but rightfully so, because like no, those are high quality stuff.
But no, so at one point we did have a 9mm 1911 come through, and I think that was the most comfortable that I've ever held. So
Yeah.
probably will be what I lean towards. But yeah. I just had that thought because that's what you've had the whole time I've known you. So it's like, if you didn't have that,
I will continue to. Just me.
hey, nothing wrong with that.
As I get older in age, I might go down in caliber, but so you coming into the shop, getting involved more in operations and day to day and stuff like that. Is there something that you have wanted to change about the shop, or is there something that you would like to see us expand into now that you are fully engrossed in it?
At the point we are at, I think most of the things that I would like change, we have already changed over the past few months, because one of the things that like we always joked about when it was just him was that the social medias like didn't it didn't keep up. Like there would be like maybe a month's worth of solid posting, and then it would just like go quiet for the rest of the year. So we have managed to keep the social medias pretty much consistently running since the beginning of the year. So that's already changed. We're working on getting like the name out there further past the word of mouth that we have, because we've pretty much exhausted that. So we're doing that. I don't know. Say on my side, and this is something that I have talked to him about, because since I did come from a background as like a service writer for automotive, I was very, I'll say I was decent. I'll not say very, very good. But I was decent at explaining to like customers, like, hey.
She was the service salesperson. Like, she was the curve
So,
in their performance. Like, don't let her bullshit you.
yeah. So I was good at explaining, like, hey, this is what's wrong with the car, to the technician, for like what the customer said to them to explain, what was wrong. And then they would tell me the technical terms, and I could flip that and put it back into like layman's terms and explain that to the customer and get them to go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah, let's do this, this, or this. I would like to get better at doing that for guns, because that has been one thing that we have wanted to kind of switch, and we're still in the process of that, is getting it more where he is strictly on the bench and I am full like admin role, front of the house, dealing with all the customers type of thing. But there is still so much that I am learning as far as firearms go versus like cars, that I still have so many questions for him that I'm like, I can't explain this to a customer and know what is going on. So currently that is something that I would like to change.
No.
I say everything else,
okay.
I feel like we are kind of already on the path of putting where we want it to be. But we are also in that kind of in-between point of, we are still small enough that the way we're handling things is fine, but we're growing enough that there's going to be things that change. And I don't know exactly what those things are yet, but I'm sure they're coming quicker than we probably know.
Yeah.
So
There's that.
also, if you couldn't tell, he is the one that's good with words. I am not. Which is also interesting considering the job that I just came from. But yeah, no.
I just opened my mouth and stuff comes out. But, Speaking of which, got another question.
Uh-oh.
Since we've got 9 more minutes that we got to fill. No. So, I sent you a video the other day. I'm not sure if that you watched it, but even if you didn't, it's kind of irrelevant.
Okay.
Because you have been doing this long enough now. I want your perspective. Now, what advice would you give a woman that wants to get involved in this industry based off the experience that you have had? Not only in this industry, but also the automotive industry, because I feel like they are similar enough that you can give advice on, but
So, like, just in general, like, women that want to start shooting, women that want to...
No, women that want to get involved working in the industry.
Don't let a man talk down to you. say, sounds silly, but like, that is one thing that sadly has not really changed over the years between cars and guns and things that are typically masculine, is that while there are a lot of men that want to see you succeed and believe that you have the capabilities or better than most men do, there are still people that will look at you and think that just because you're a woman that you don't know what you're talking about, which is something that I actually had a lot as a service advisor in a dealership, was that I would explain something to a customer and they would argue with me and want to talk to somebody else, meaning a guy, to then have them explain the same exact thing and go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, just because it came from somebody else. It's going to happen. It is annoying. Don't let that wear you down to the point where you give up. Keep learning. Keep showing that you know what you're talking about. And give them help.
Yeah. No, and I would say that's solid advice. And
it is rough.
Funny enough, we also did a podcast episode about that. If you guys want to go check out Spotify and YouTube on that. Because that was one of those, like, we sat down and I wrote the script based off that same question and experience that Lydia just shared. Because, no, she had said that answer. And one of the things that I have contemplated and I have experienced working with different couples and like different, orientations of family and, like father, daughter, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, like relationship dynamics. It isn't always that the guy is trying to talk down to you per se. It's just I don't think they understand how to teach.
Yeah.
Like, because there is that personal security level of, if you fail, that reflects poorly on me, having been the one who tried to teach you, kind of thing, which is also why I am a big believer in that if you are a woman that wants to learn how to shoot properly, wants to get confident with firearms and stuff, like, absolutely involve your partner, involve your spouse in that conversation. But
leave them at home.
You should very much go to the range or take a class like by yourself. Because I have seen more times than not, like, the husband or the boyfriend or whatever, like, he will zero the scope, rack the slide, like, get everything perfect, and then basically looks at her and is like, okay, well, all you gotta do is pull the trigger. And it's like...
that teaches you nothing.
No. Passenger princess does no favors to them in this situation.
No.
Like...
And if you are a woman in the industry already and you are trying to, like, empower other women to do so, please do. And, like, because that was one thing that I did get a lot in the automotive industry, was like women that would come into the shop and would talk to me for things that were like, I'm so glad that you're here. Like, I don't feel like I'm being talked down to. Like, I don't feel like you're trying to sell me something that I don't need. Like, we need more women that are willing to be in these male-dominated roles that don't take the shit from the guys to keep us out of it.
Well, and for me, it isn't only that we need more women in the male dominated industries to like project a safe place to women.
We need more men that
We
understand
need
it.
it's not only that, we need more women to help these industries because as you have said, other people have said, like there's enough reviews and content out there about me. Like I'm just one guy.
Mm-hmm.
I try, I am open-minded. I am fair to everybody, but the problem still is like a woman comes to me and if she's already got that preconceived notion about men in the firearms industry, like there's very little I can do to help her.
Yeah.
But if somebody like you comes in and teaches her, then that opens up her to the possibility of learning from someone who knows more like me, and then sets her up on a better
success.
path.
Yeah.
But there are lots of preconceived notions and stuff about
There are
this
so many
industry that
layers.
still need to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. That would be my thing. Be willing to learn, but don't take shit if someone starts like trying to talk down to you. Just yeah.
So
Strong, independent woman who does need a man because you're not going anywhere.
the right kind of man.
The right kind of man.
Not a man, the right man. But no. So, alright, guys, we are in our last minute. So, this is probably going to be it. So, again, I am Hootey, lead gunsmith and founder of Blue Coat Arms Company.
And I am Lydia. I am the Chief Operations Officer, and I do all the back-end admin stuff for Blue Coat Arms. And this has been our first Q&A.
So,
As awkward as it may have been.
if you are just joining us now, we are Blue Coat Arms Company, your full-service gunsmith shop right here in Central Illinois. We might do more of these later. I don't know. I also know that we are going to be posting this on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere else because, the live is going to get saved. So, no.
Yes.
If you missed us tonight, but you have questions about a particular firearm, gunsmithing, the business, or whatever, drop a comment. We want to hear from you. We are happy to answer your questions. And also, if you did miss us tonight and you want to get involved in more of these, or you want to see us do more of these if you like this after watching it, let us know that too. We are more than happy to make this a regular thing if that is what people want.
Absolutely.
So,
No matter your, we got your 6.
until next time.